Hi there. I'm watching Shaw TV, Channel 4, Saturday morning, and I'm just wondering, has your TV program, Channel 4, been hijacked by some crazed political organization? Freedom for All? I mean, this is not this is kind of strange, and I'm just wondering why you've got this Freedom for All thing on TV, public programming. It's really, really strange. Get it off the airline. It's weird. Bye.
I'm a chemtrail guy and I'll tell you why. Look up in the sky, white streaks flying by. Got the time lapse so I can capture the blast. Here's the proof for the confused noobs. You want a pair of puppets, it's up high in the sky. It's all water vapor, why would they lie? Little ice crystals hanging out cause it's dry. Dissipate slow so they don't realize. Living in a fog like a bump on a log. Don't you worry, spray text on the dog. Keep your mind closed, not loose on a tether. Which one you like, which proof is better? Dennis Kucinich made a mention. In-house resolution 2977. BC Weather Modification Act got repealed. Kevin Falcone didn't wanna keep it real. Modification ain't getting old in Alberta. Seeing clouds you never heard of. The UN in Nagoya, Japan. In 2010, they say they put it to an end. What keeps us down in the mainstream mind? Social ridicule, it makes you blind. Tinfoil hat, hop's gonna get you. It's fear-based tactics trying to affect you. Keep your head down while the chem rains down. Speak your mind, you can expect frowns. A strain from planes, it's getting in your veins. Articulate, we're antennae widgets. Transhumanistic, bioelectric physics.
I need some sunshine. Oh, I need some sunshine.
Clifford Kernighan, he's got it going on. Scientific research down to earth. Stop the paralysis, deductive analysis. Test tubes and microbes, information explodes. Fibers and samples, dying plants and animals. Biotechno robot, nano cannibals. Electro controller, symbio parasites. Remote control robot, UAV flies. Implant the chips, pollinating our brains with an information drip that's so sick, it's way up in the sky. Why bother question? Breathe it in some more. You'll learn some lessons, bad for your health. The whole world knows, simply not question. We do what we're told. If the elites wanna kill us all, they be killing themselves. Having a ball, they will but they won't. They got an antidote. Living underground, technologies to cope. How you like that? What you want? Looking back now, some things he could have done. Diet mending, bioelectric cleansing. Living your life, tracking and trending. It's the information and complete control grid. It's what it's about, it's the way we live. Trying to have a rational conversation. All I end up with is mind manipulation. When we're living in a futuristic nation of tracking and tracing and techno celebration. Take a thought for a minute as we take it to the limit. A testament to the human spirit. Is it inherent? Is it to be timid? Or to ask questions, reach wisdom, discernment?
Oh, I need some sunshine. Oh, I need some sunshine.
Alright, welcome to Freedom Free for All. As you see, I am wearing the proper shirt to host Freedom Free for All once again. Thank you for watching. Welcome to my channel. This interview will be in English. We have a very special guest. I'll introduce him in a few moments. But right before that, I'd like to briefly touch on another subject. I have recently paid and watched, because you gotta pay sometimes, the Jones Plantation with two of my favorite speakers. One that I only know by his nickname, which is Legal Man. He's a former lawyer in the United States. Even though I saw him for the first time yesterday while watching the movie, and I've learned his real name for the first time. I don't remember what his name is, and I'll refer to him as Legalman for the time being. And the second one is Larkin Rose, and which is a producer of the movie or the film or documentary as appropriate. You call it as you see fit. I will recommend that you do spend $10 as well, and that you go watch this fine movie. Second thing, today's guest is Mr. Stefan Verstappen. We're about to welcome him to the show in just a few minutes. But meanwhile, we're waiting for him to join this conversation. Two of my other favorite speaker, I've referred to him recently. One which was on Freedom Free for All quite a few times, which is Vinny Eastwood from New Zealand. So thank you, Mr. Vinny Eastwood, for all these years of shouting the truth. And too bad that you have to go and face the illegal justice system of New Zealand because you're shouting the truth, and face the consequences of speaking the truth. And the second one, which I only also know by his nickname, is Max Igan, which has spoken well about Stefan Verstappen quite a few times. So thank you to him as well, which is a little sad story about Max Igan. He's in exile in Mexico for the same reason as Vinny Eastwood. He's been shouting the truth for several years, and yeah, he had to flee his country. I don't know if you can actually call it fleeing, but yeah, he's a truth refugee. So thank you to all these people, and for all the people who prefer a comfortable lie over a cold hard truth, well, because we're on Freedom Free Fall, I will restrain to tell you what you should do about yourself. So I'm going to pause here the recording while Mr. Stefan Verstappen joins in the show. And after the break, he should be here in the call and we'll talk about things. Alright, I am very happy to introduce to you, if you don't know him, Mr. Stefan Verstappen. I'd like to extend this to a very personal welcome and very much from the heart thank you for joining me in this conversation. It will not be an interview. There is no plan, no agenda, no questionnaire, no nothing. This is Freedom Free for All, so let's get started. Just before I introduce Mr. Verstappen, which is on the line now, I forgot to say that Freedom Free for All is the show that pokes the New World Order in his all-seeing eyes, and my personal addition, as usual to this, kicking his ass in his all-seeing ass. So, that being said, Mr. Stefan Verstappen, introduce yourself as you see fit. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me on again, Jeff. It's good to talk to you again. For the listeners that don't know, Jeff and we spoke, I think, about 2 years ago. Did you record that for?
Yes, sir, but it was for my personal archive.
Oh, okay. So it was never made public. Anyways,
Nope.
Jeff and I had a good talk a couple of years ago, and we're going to do it again. So I don't know how to introduce myself. I've been a conspiracy realist. I don't want to say theory because, like what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and conspiracy reality? Well, it's 6 months. We've seen that. You know,
Right.
we were all conspiracy theories back in 2020 when we were speaking out against the government mandates and the dangerous illness that was sweeping the world, and me and other truth tellers that could instantly see through government propaganda said, no, there's something wrong with this. That's not how the way things work, and I would stay away from the doctors at this point. But
I've
oh,
got good reason to stay away from these charlatans. First, I've got first-hand admission from two of them when I was working at the Royal Victoria Hospital in Montreal that they indeed don't know anything. And second thing, about which I'd like to correct you, it is no conspiracy. There was really a pandemic, but the thing is, we're looking at the wrong looking at it the wrong way. And the pandemic has been going on for a long time, and unfortunately is still going on at this moment because it's a pandemic of stupidity. So I'd like to get my vaccine against stupidity, and to any insurance company or corporation which is watching, can I please sign the contract to be insured against stupidity? And I did ask my insured that once, and she thought I was joking. And then I repeated the question, and she said, "You know what, Jeff? If we were to issue insurance against stupidity, we'd go bankrupt in the morning." So I tried. I really tried, but they don't want. So sorry for interrupting. Yeah, the
Yeah. So, well, listen.
doctor.
I've been I've known about the New World Order going back to like the mid '80s. So that's what, like 45 years, 50 years. Um, Even before that, I knew when I was about 16. So that would be exactly 40 years ago when the Zapruder film came out, and it was first shown on television, of course, long before the internet. And you could clearly see Kennedy's head going backwards. And they came out with a bunch of stories that, well, if you shoot somebody from behind, then when the bullet exits, it creates a jet stream that forces the head backwards. I'm not kidding. That's the explanation they had
Okay,
for it.
hold on. You're shooting someone from behind the head,
Yeah.
and the head goes like that.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense, and I know what you're referring to. The book depository was behind the car, but no, the truth is he was shot from how do you call it? Water
The
drain?
grassy knoll. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
a water
grassy
a
knoll.
water drain. Yeah, but these people
Yeah.
are totally incompetent. They had 12 shooters on them, something like that, or six shooter plus six spotter, and only
Yep.
one bullet hits in the end. One killing bullets. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's
So when they
hard.
came out with that, I was like 16, and listen, I didn't know anything about conspiracies, but I know basic physics. No, you get shot from behind, your head goes forward; it doesn't go backwards. So I then knew that they were lying. The government was lying. The media was lying. Everybody was lying about this. Everybody went along with it, and I'm going. It's like the emperor's new clothes. I'm like the kid that says, "Wait a minute, no, the guy's naked," but everybody's still saying, "Oh no, that's wonderful clothing that he wears." So from that point on, I had a healthy disrespect for government and media, and then throughout the years, hundreds of conspiracy theories have come and gone, and I followed them all, and probably 80% of them turned out to be absolutely true. So, listen, Jeff, sometimes I ask myself why I'm doing this. Like last
Welcome
night,
to the club. I'm asking.
like last night, like last night, I'm doing the live stream, and to be honest with you, I don't really like being on camera and listening to myself talk. And I think, what? Why am I doing this? But the thing is, we have to do this.
I
If we don't do,
I
if
got
we
an
don't do
answer.
something, if we don't, okay, hold on, something. If we don't do something, these people are going to destroy the entire planet. They're going to enslave and murder everyone. There's little children, and I see them out the window here. They're playing in the grass, and I think, what is their life going to be like? Um, what kind of a world are they growing up in? So even though personally I feel like, why am I doing this? What's the point? We keep talking about it, and we keep making videos and writing articles and writing books, but we have to do something, Jeff. We have to. We can't just sit back and say nothing and do nothing. We can't do that because I think those of us who are incarnated in this time in history, this is the time to pick a side, good or evil. And whatever choice you make is going to affect you for eternity. So we got to pick good. Go ahead, John.
Well, it may sound greedy, but I've said that before on my own channel, which this show obviously is going to be broadcast, so I should say my own show, the one that I go with under the name that you see here. Well, I think I've come up with an answer. I'm not doing it for others. It may sound greedy, but just like you said, we gotta pick a side. The world will not be destroyed by the evil people. It will be destroyed by the good people who let them do by doing nothing.
Right.
That's the first thing. But yeah, first thing is do it for myself. Second is pick a side. But the third thing, I don't think that most people are human. There is
I agree.
only very few of us. We're far and few in between. We're few and far in between. Um, there are non-public character or non-player character NPCs in terms of video game. They don't realize anything. They don't want to realize anything. They don't even want to be led to safety. They do want to be led, but to where? Well, I guess to the end of the world. This is where we are now, and all these people, they'll simply die, and it'll be for the better. Once all of these NPCs are gone, the world will be ours. The very few people which are human, and then the evil cabal, call it as you wish. It's going to be us versus them at this point, and us being a few numbers, but their number is even smaller. I mean, the controllers, how many of them are they in the world? Let's be very generous. There's 1,000 of them. Let's be extra very generous. There's 10,000 big controller. I I am ready to bet anything that there's more human left than that.
No, I agree with you, Jeff. Most people are not humans. They're simulrac, simul, simul. I forget the word. They are basically machines. They have no conscious, no self-awareness. They have no ability to choose a side because that would require a conscience. And yeah, do it for yourself. I would say I do have a selfish reason for doing what I'm doing. Well, first of all, I can't stand the evil. I can't stand these evil people. I despise them. I find them really annoying and hateful. And wherever I can and whenever I can, I will always resist these evil sons of bitches, just as a matter of pride. I can't stand these people. I've always been on the side of good. But my selfish reason might be this: I worry that I'll be reincarnated, and I don't want to come back to this crazy planet.
Um, I have another theory. This is no conspiracy about that, but this is the purgatory to me. And if I do right, there's no chance that I will reincarnate. I don't want to come back to this realm. It's a shithole anyway. We don't know anything about. Everything is a lie, no matter what. Even if the evil people would go down tomorrow, we'd still be asking the question: are we truly on a spinning ball which orbit a sun? Even that is, one bridge too far to try for me to try to explain it. So that's why I'm not going down those conspiracy rabbit hole. For me, the world is nothing but a 3D simulation, and if it is, that means that I am a being superior to this one, just pretty much like the video game called The Sims. I control the Sims which is on the screen. Well, to me, this reality, that's exactly what it is. I'm a superior being controlling Jeff with his limitation in this world, just like pretty much the Sim is. And so possibly that's why there's no consequences in this world, no matter what you do, because no rule ever stopped evil. Nothing can actually stop it from happening. We can only view it after it happened. Some are punished. They go to jail and other things like that. but most get away with it, and especially the most evil. Those who truly, go and bomb other country or create famine or flooding with the geoengineering, they get away with it. There's nobody to overwatch them. So I think there's no consequences anyway, and except for my own soul. So if I live it correctly, I won't come back. Because the universe must be freaking boring if I'm down to play a video game of Jeff on this planet. Nothing must be happening. So yeah, and for them in
Well,
control, I think it's the same thing. They have so much of everything. They have a yacht, they have an airplane, they have a private island, they have an hotel in every city. It's so fucking boring that they have to play chess with human and make them face each other to get a good laugh. So
yeah. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you say, Jeff. I also think, I don't think we're in a simulation. What I think is that we are receivers and that our consciousness is transmitted into our body, probably through our DNA, which acts like an antenna for to channel certain frequencies. That's why we're all unique.
yeah, we're
And
electromagnetic being.
yeah, and so I just say I am Channel Stefan right now.
Well, I'm
And
Channel
then
Jeff, and welcome to Channel Freedom Free For All. All right, so we already covered the fraud that is medicine, fraud that is media, government. What's left on the plate?
yeah, no, hold on. Let me just back up to medicine. Like you said, you had already had several doctors admit to you they know nothing.
Yep, yep,
I
yep.
also had one of my good friends is an emergency room doctor. He lives in Santa Barbara, but he works in San Antonio, and we're quite good friends. I can speak to him about everything. I helped edit four of his books, and I asked him. I said, "Ron, like, you don't really know anything, do you?"
Yeah, he'll
And
admit that in a private conversation, but never on Freedom Free For All channel.
yeah, no, but he told me the same thing. That doctors really don't know anything. All that time spent in medical school, it's 90% busy work. For their 8 years there in medical school and the internship and all that, they might have had 4 or 5 hours on nutrition.
Yeah, well, they don't look forward to prevent any sickness. They don't even want to cure any sickness. They just want to
Nope.
mitigate the symptom, and they
Yeah,
use
and
medication.
make a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, and like you said on your show yesterday, nurses know much more about that. I like to think it this way: doctor, they know how to stop bleeding, which is not complicated. Usually, you put a bandage and a few stitches, and you should be all right. Um, They know how to help with birth, which is not complicated because it's naturally done. All they need is
Hmm.
reduce the pain and pick up the baby before it falls onto the floor. And the only third thing that they know, yeah, hopefully the lady is laying down and not standing up. So yeah, yeah, the height is lower. And the third thing that they know how to fix broken bone. Once again, it's not very complicated. You put a cast or you immobilize whatever broken bone there is, and it'll heal itself. Everything else, they don't know jack shit. They are just playing with the people as if they were guinea pig. All those surgery, sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. But they're playing with the people. As for curing sickness like cancer, well, they don't know how to, and most of the rest either. Um, so
No, they are heavily indoctrinated too. The medical school really programs them,
yeah,
and
school
they
is
can
made for
never.
that.
Yeah, that's why you spend 8 years there to make sure that you're fully indoctrinated, completely programmed,
Yes.
and obedient to the in the United States it's the AMA. I don't know what the equivalent here is in Canada, but I'm sure we have one.
There's one per province and probably one for both the three territories. Yeah, there's some sort of doctor association, and if you step out of line, well, here goes your license.
Exactly. And they can't think outside the box. They just can't.
Uh,
So,
I would remove outside the box.
oh, okay. They can't think.
Thank you. But that's only me. You don't need to repeat what I'm saying. You don't have to abide by any of what I know, or and vice
I'm just
versa.
trying to make you happy, Jeff.
Yeah, I am happy, except when I have to go outside of the 1 square kilometer that's allowed to me to do anything. Yeah, whenever I have to go to town, that's where I feel bad. The moment I take my car and drive down the driveway here and turn left to make it on the public road, I just want to turn around and come back here. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, all my problems, Stefan, are outside the door, which is right there, which I'm looking at right now. Inside this box of mine, this wooden box that I live in, there's no problem. If people come into my box and they bring problem, they're gonna get their ass
Yeah.
kicked down the road with their problem.
Yeah. I understand that you're going monk mode.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I look at I don't remember his first name because it's Japanese, but Mr. Musashi that you know well. You've read The Way of the Warrior, I think, and
Yeah, Miyamoto.
Miyamoto Musashi, and
Yeah,
he has another book which is The Way of Loneliness, The Path of Loneliness, something like that.
the way of walking alone.
The
Yeah,
way of walking alone. So yeah, there we go. I abide by these principles. You were the first one who introduced me to the way of the warrior, and because you were reading it, I've taken this reading as well from you. I've done a few chapters the way you did on my channel, because I found it was so great. But I was abiding by all these principles before I got to know you or listen to you, which is like what? It's been 7, 8 years I've been listening to you
oh yeah.
every which way I could. And we spoke, like you said, 2 years ago, and then a few months ago, like in June, and yeah, we're in August. Yeah, we're in August. So a few months ago, I discovered the way of walking alone, just the way you said it. Thank you very much. And I abide by all these principles by nature. I don't even need to know the book, but when I was listening to the reading, because I don't have the book, unfortunately, but I was listening to someone reading it, I said, okay, I
But
abide by this principle and this principle and this principle, and then all down the road, yeah, I'm pretty much a warrior, which is walking alone.
yes. Which book don't you have?
Well, I don't have any of them. Even though I've read Way of the Warrior, it was only an ebook, and I've listened to The Way of Walking Alone
Did I
on.
not send you my survival library?
Did you not? Did I refuse? I don't remember. It was 2 years ago. But the truth is, I've never consulted it. Shame on me, probably.
Because my book is in there, The Way of the Warrior. It's part of the collection. I'll tell you what. After we're done, I'll send you the link again,
Right on.
where you can go to my webpage and you can download all the books. So at the top of the page, the download page, the first 6 books are mine, and it'll be The Way of the Warrior. And uh, but The Way of Walking Alone, it's only like 4 pages.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a book. It's really just 4, maybe 6 pages, and you can download that from the internet. So Miyamoto Musashi, The Way of Walking Alone, or sometimes they call it The Path or something like that. But I, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong. I think it's called The Way of Walking Alone, and you can download the PDF for that. And no, I think it's only like 2 pages. I've got it downloaded. It's on my computer somewhere. If I find it, I'll send that to you as well. Okay?
You could, but I can also listen to the ebook again or download it myself, thank you very much. If you do, and if you forget, well, thank you very much still, because it was you who introduced me to this gentleman, Japanese samurai. And I know you've been practicing. I don't know if it's sword or stick that you were handling. I remember you do martial art, but I've learned through this principle that also, even though I was never into sports and combat sport, another martial art that I've I went under training, is archery. I am a master at archery. I've shot my million arrows. So, and it was a Chinese philosophic guy who said
Hmm.
that you can't master anything unless you've done it a million times. So,
10,000 times.
10,000 times. Well, I've well past that. So I'm a master of
Yeah.
driving too. I won't tell you other things that I master. So yeah, no, sorry. So yeah, archery is one of the principle of is it not of it's not a
Oh,
martial art,
absolutely. Yeah.
but it's part of the
It's called it's called Kyoto in Japanese, and there's a really interesting book I highly recommend, and it's called Zen and the Art of Archery
okay.
by Eugene Herigal.
Okay, I will. Oh shit! I don't have a pen and a paper, so let me do a little file here with my computer. New
Zen and the
text
Art of
document.
Archery. I think you'll like it because it's great. Archery is a fantastic combat sport, and I include that as a combat sport, as do the Japanese.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Well,
it's a martial art.
oh,
Archery. Yeah.
okay. I would not have went so far as put it in a category of martial art,
No,
but you
no,
are,
absolutely.
and I will take your word for it because everything you've said over the year has been proven true when you made statement. Oh, which leads me to I'd like to thank you personally for that story that you've made up, the way things are going to unfold. Is that the right title? I'm working off memory here. The way
Oh
things will all
yeah.
go down.
About how it will go down.
Yeah, yeah, I like this very much, and I'm admitting that, you know, this is premonition on your end, because it's really happening this way. Especially the part we're very close to it now. I'm not saying it's generalized, but the part where because you made the version A, where the family goes down, right?
Yeah.
They're not prepared and they're going down. Then there's
Yeah.
version B, where they're ready and they survive. But version A, here's what's the trauma part for me, is when he sells his daughter, and she's what, 14, 15 in the story. He sells,
Yeah.
well, he doesn't agree, but she still do it. She goes to the strip joint, and then she get abducted and sold for sexual abuse, right?
Yeah.
And that's a trauma for me, because I see this happening. Not because I'm really into it, I'm not at all, but it's so easy today when you just type the word in Google, you type the word porn, right? And you get a
Yeah.
gazillion results. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what's happening. Now there's no more strip club today, or very little. So people are selling their asses on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so ugly, and that where there's a big trauma on my part because people are doing that. They're all running after the next topic that I want to bring with you. Money. All right. They say in the Pink Floyd song called "Money" that it is the root of all evil today, but this is blatantly false. Money is not evil in itself. It's the love
No.
of money that is evil, and the people that believe that money has any value. That's where the evil part is. In
Yeah.
itself is just a piece of well, plastic today. And just to link it with the previous thing is people are showing their naked body on the internet for that shit.
Yeah. Well, I got that idea from studying the Weimar Republic, and so
Ha!
after Yeah, after World War One, when Germany surrendered, um,
It
well,
happened.
they were invaded by a certain group of people
Yeah.
that are very special and whom God loves more than anybody else.
And they got a better looking hat than the one on your picture.
Yeah, and they were like locusts. They descended on Germany. They robbed them blind, and the Germans were starving in the 30s. Remember, their money was worth nothing. The inflation
Yes.
went through the ceiling. You saw the
Um,
pictures of people,
no, 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 sorry. It was devaluation, but keep on going for the rest. You're absolutely right. We'll talk about devaluation after.
and they were bringing wheelbarrows full of cash to go buy a loaf of bread,
Uh-huh.
and they were desperate. And what happened was a lot of the families ended up selling their daughters and their wives into prostitution.
Yes, you could get a baroness or a duchess or whatever the title is for a few hundred marks or a few hundred
Exactly.
thousand mark, and it's happening today again. That's
It's
exactly what
happening
it is.
today again, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why I put that in my How It Will Go Down Agenda 2030, I think it's called. And that's why I included that because that's where we're going, Jeff. We know that. It's already happening now. People are desperate everywhere.
Yes.
Uh, and so, well, how desperate are you going to be? Now, if you're a mother and your children are starving and they're crying and they can't go to sleep at night and there's no other way to make money, guess what they'll do? And I don't blame them for doing that because otherwise your children will die. And that's what they've got planned for us now, anyways. So, for those of you who are listening, if you've got any daughters or sons, because they pimped out their young boys too, right, to the pederasts and the pedophiles, and um, that's why we got to fight this. And we talked about this at the beginning of the show. Why are we doing this? Well, why am I doing this? It's because I don't want to see that little 8-year-old boy that I see running down the street on his bicycle, having a good time. It's summer. It's sunny out. It's beautiful, and he's. I don't want to see him being sold into a whorehouse where he gets anally raped by a bunch of middle-aged men for the next 6 years. I don't want to see that. And unless people like you and me, Jeff, unless we continue to fight, that's exactly what's going to happen to them. And that's why, everybody that's listening now, look, folks, um, we're down to the line here. You really have to speak out. You've got to organize, work together with people. We got to resist this because that's what's coming. That's what's coming.
Unlike you, I don't have any hope that we can stop this shit because it's down to parents selling their kids. If it was the way you said, and they are taken over by criminal cartel, and we could put
Yeah.
an end to it. But because now it's on an individual level, and they will sell their children the way they've been doing in Thailand and in other places. I'm sure you go to
Yeah.
Argentina now today, okay, because it's been going on a little faster in that country, that specific country, or Venezuela, as another example. With $100, I can get the entire family for myself for a week.
Yeah.
They will
Yeah.
sell themselves. They don't need a cartel to do that, and they will do exactly as I see fit. Um, I'm pretty sure. And most country in Africa, if I had the income that I have today here in Canada, and instead of having to pay a mortgage that I can't really afford in this country because it's now through the roof, I'd be going to live in, I don't know, South Africa. Well, maybe not South Africa. It's a little different there. They're really racist, and the white people are being genocide. But
Yeah.
name another country, Tanzania, for example. I go there with my actual income, I'd be the king of Tanzania. Or at least I could deal with the king there. He would give me a domain and probably 100 cops to protect myself. But yeah, this is the way it is going. And based on what I see in China now, I could probably get an entire city for $100 today. I could buy
Oh
Shanghai
yeah.
for $100 because they have water up to the second floor. Um, yeah,
Yeah. China is a disaster.
It's
They're not
always
going to
been
make it.
No, it's always been a disaster. It's a paper tiger. And remember one thing if you don't know, and I'm not talking to you specifically, but the watcher, the people who are listening. China's regime, first, it's not communist. It's pseudo-communist. They got the flag and they got the name. But that's it. It stops there. And they're not communists. They're something else. And second, they've been installed by HSBC in the City of London. So they are
Of
in the
course.
club, just like Putin is in the club. They're fighting one
Yeah.
another because they're all pushing the same agenda of population reduction and playing with humans, well, NPCs, I should say, on the way there. So it's just a big farce. George Carlin said it right. It's a big club, you ain't in it.
Yeah.
That's why you're on this channel. That's you now and the people who are watching. So
Yeah, but I have to disagree with you on one thing, though,
Yep, go.
Jeff. And that you said there's no hope. Um, I think there is hope, and that's what I've been. You've been following me. You know what I'm talking about all the time. I'm talking about small, autonomous communities that are self-reliant, self-sufficient.
Yes.
You can think of it as a lifeboat. So the Titanic is going down. The Titanic of Western civilization. We've already hit the iceberg 3 years ago, and it's just inertia that keeps our society going. Just like with the Titanic, you get such a big thing. It was doomed the minute it hit the iceberg, but it still took them, what was it, 45 minutes to finally sink. So the same thing with our civilization. We are doomed. We're going
Yes.
down. That that big disease and their mandates has destroyed the economy, absolutely destroyed it. But we're only now really starting to see the full effects of what a destroyed economy looks like. So we're going down. So we got to get to the lifeboats, and that's what I've been working on. That's what I've been preaching. That's what I've been
You know,
talking about in one of my podcasts. We got to build those lifeboats. That's our only chance. Yet we can't save the ship. It's done.
yeah.
But if we can build,
One thing you said is not half of the ship is gonna go down. The entire ship is gonna go. You're right about that. But the thing is, people are stupid, completely stupid. History is for fool, and man is a tool. This scenario that we're living currently has happened before. After World War One, they came in with the Black Plague or whatever they call it, the Spanish flu, whatever, and it led
yeah,
exactly to World War Two. And it's the same playbook. That's what. That's why I have no hope, because the playbook is right there for those who wants to read it. And people, oh no, the playbook doesn't exist. Well, fuck you and your belief. The facts are the facts. That's
yeah,
insane.
it's the same playbook they've been using for 4,000 years.
Yeah.
This is nothing new.
No, 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 no. And let's go back to one chapter you said economy. Economy, the biggest fraud there is. The economy is a controlled market. So if it collapses, it's because it's planned to collapse. It's wanted to collapse. Oh, there's free market. Fuck you. There is no free market. You're right? Okay. I got
No,
to study money for so long because it's each time you study something else you always come to money. So basically this is the subject I've studied the most. It's a scam. It's a fraud. Every economic system that mankind has invented over the last 4,000 years, even the one based on gold, have collapsed. No exception. And what's the definition of being crazy?
insanity.
Insanity
Yeah,
is to always use the same method and expect a different outcome. Right, so you're fucking insane. All of you. I know. I accept money too, but I know why I'm accepting it. And I know it has no value. I'm more than happy to throw those fucking worthless bill at the cashier at the store because I'm too fucking lazy to grow a can of Campbell soup in my garden. She wants that. I want Campbell soup in a box. Yeah, in a tin can. Intelligent people will tell me, well, Jeff, tin can don't grow in a garden. Well, I know that much, I'm not stupid. I'm just trying to make you laugh. But I do want the Campbell soup, and I'm too lazy to grow the tomato. So yeah, I buy the soup, and I'm happy. I'm happy because why? Because I've many slave. If I wanted, I could buy maybe not all at the same time, but every last one of you for some money. I like this system in the end because I can buy myself a slave. When I'm too lazy to move the pile of wood which is behind my house, which I've been doing by the way, I'm not hiring anyone, but I can throw them some of these shit and they'll do it. They'll be happy.
Yeah.
So, but I know it's worth nothing.
Sure. Money is not evil in and of itself, and there has been many forms of money. It's just an exchange.
Yes.
Um, money is money is only as valuable as you think it is. In the past, you might have heard of the tally stick. Money used to
Yes.
be
Rope
pieces of
around.
wood,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, or it used to be seashells,
Yes.
or it used to
Anything
be
can be money. My
anything
dirty
can be money.
underwear
Yeah,
can be my money if you want it. You know, you're ready to
sure, if
work for a
everybody
pair of
agrees.
dirty. Yeah. If everybody agrees, you want to be paid with my dirty underwear? Come and work for me.
Yeah, the only thing that has value is man hours. It's labor. Labor is
Yes.
the only thing that produces anything of value,
Yes.
and so money is used to transfer the value of labor from one medium to another. So by itself, actually, we need money, but the money system we've been under for even before the Federal Reserve, the money system was already manipulated
Yes.
and phony as shit. So uh, the only reason gold was considered more stable form of money is because you can't print gold.
That's it. You gotta go and get it in the field, so that's man hour. So yeah,
So there you go again. That's man hours,
I got
and
two bill
that's
here. In terms of
yeah, that's
physics, they're identical, but they have
yeah,
different color and different number. You do more shit for that one than for this one. Why? They're the same. They are the same format, same size, same weight, same everything except for the color. So it's worth
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. The ancient Spartans used iron as money, and they did that on purpose because that way somebody couldn't carry around a lot of money because it was too heavy.
No shit, iron is quite heavy. Yeah, maybe we should make coin of steel. That would even be better.
Yeah,
But
pay for things with iron or bronze nuggets or something, um, because yeah, it's just that you can't walk around and bribe people out of your pocket.
unless you have a couple of slave with wheelbarrow in the back. But
Yeah,
people would say to me, Stefan, well, if we get rid of money, what do we do? How do we live? Well, first, living is easy. Try breathing, your life. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Oh, so but what's going to replace money? How about nothing? And that's where it tilts in their brain. They're so fucking empty, or program in that case, that they can't invent or imagine a world without money, without accountants to fuck us all. Because that's what
yeah,
experts do. They get together in a band and they fuck the rest of us because we're not in their stupid club. Take as example lawyer. Oh yeah, you need a lawyer. Why do I need a lawyer? Law doesn't apply to me. It applies to government and corporation. Am I one of those? No. Well, fuck you and your book of law. Doesn't apply to me. Why should I know? Oh, they asked me once in court. What did they? How did they? It was in French, so they said law applies. Oh, nobody should ignore the law. And that was the fake judge talking to me. She says, I don't ignore the law. I know very well it applies to you people and not to me. And she was like, okay, so I won this argument. Now that we've put that out of the way, you explain to me why I can't go out the door. Oh, yeah, right, there's a goon with a gun. As soon as you realize that I'm stronger than you, that I'm above you in your hierarchy, that I'm a human based on natural law, and that's all law that applies to me, and that I'm not subject of any of your bullshit, you're gonna order that goon to let me out. Until then, I'm here under threat and duress. And she says, yes. Okay, so you're threatening me with the guy with the gun. Yeah, basically that's what it is, and that's how
yep,
government stays in power. They threaten everyone, and even though they don't threaten everyone, people think, oh, if I do this against the law, I'm gonna go to jail. Well, I got good news for you. There's not enough jail for all of us to begin with. So,
Yeah.
and secondly, there's not enough goon with guns. How do I know that? I was a goon with a gun in my military service.
Yep.
And
Yes, you were.
yeah, and they told me, hey, when I was in military service, you're not here to defend the people. They never,
No.
there is no order to, when there's a war, you take your gun, you stand in front of a bunch of civilians, and it's them you protect. No, you're protecting the corporation that pays you. Like you said yesterday in your program, I was listening, you're mercenaries. That's all that you
Yep.
are. Or was it, oh, maybe it was Junior Smallby who said that. I listen to so many people, so good people, that knows what they're talking about, that I confuse them sometimes. Maybe it was you. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, all military and police will never, ever stand down. Look at what happened in France. 5 years of the yellow jacket. What has changed? Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. They take their club and they club a couple of yellow jacket every Saturday, and they're happy to do that. They're paid for it. For as long as the soldiers and the police accept these, nothing will ever change. Ever.
Right. Yep. No, that's true. I was thinking of making a video specifically for police and military because they're the ones that enable all this.
Yes.
You know, if it wasn't for police and military, you think Justin Trudeau can go prancing around all over the place
You could
doing
remove
their
the
money?
In Canada, we're in a specific situation. I was in the military, so I can speak for what I've seen. Military don't get involved in anything civilian. Anything.
Right.
So only
But
police.
generally speaking, yeah.
But the
Yeah, generally speaking, though, that's ultimately um, what's protecting these people. I was going to aim it more for police because,
yes, that'd be wise.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But what I wanted to say to them is that I met a young man the other day. We were rehearsing for the wedding, a musical, some songs, music, and the son of the two people that are in our band came out, and he's 18, and they told me, and he told me that he's really interested in joining the military. And I said, absolutely not. Whatever you do, do not join the military. And I explained to him, I said, what you want to be is a warrior. That's your that's what's driving you to join the military because they said, well, he's looking for discipline, he's looking for structure.
You don't
And
get that in the Canadian Forces, I tell you that.
yeah, I'm going to send this interview to him after we're done so he can hear it from you. But what I told him and what I've told a lot of young men is that what you really want to be is a warrior. You do not need an external force to force you to be disciplined and to be brave and all that. You do that yourself. If somebody else has got a gun to your head and forcing you into this routine, then that means nothing.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's the
coercion.
difference. It's coercion. And I said, so what you want to be is a warrior. And I explained to him, I said, for example, um, on the night of a full moon, I will always go out into the forest and practice with my sword. And I said, nobody sees me. Nobody knows I'm doing it. Nobody's paying me to do it. Nobody's encouraging me to do it. I don't get any praise or credit from people. Nobody's watching. I said, it's my own personal discipline.
Yes.
And I'll be out there and it'll be all year round. If it's wintertime, mind you, I have a cutoff temperature of -10. If it's colder than that, then I won't do it. But other than that, and that's because I'm getting old. When I was younger, I couldn't care less. I would still do it. But it is your own spirit that's doing it. This is what you want. And I said, the difference between a soldier and a warrior is that a soldier obeys the commands of others, and a soldier is not morally responsible for his actions because moral responsibility is transferred up the chain of command.
Yes.
But if you're a warrior, and finally, a soldier fights the battles of others.
Yes.
Other people tell him who to fight. I said, with a warrior, you fight your own battles. You choose when and where and with whom to do battle. You don't follow somebody else. Somebody comes and says, "Oh, go kill those people there." No, that's not a warrior does. If a warrior feels and has reason to go kill those people, then well, he'll go and kill them. But it's not because you're being told to do that. And a warrior is responsible for his own actions. It's your own morality. So, well, why don't I go out and kill a lot of people? Because morally, that's wrong for me to do that. Listen, if I could get a hold, if I could get my hands on Klaus Schwab and that Juval guy and Bill Gates, listen, put me in a room with them with no witnesses, those guys will not be coming back.
Yeah, but knowing you and knowing myself and being a warrior as you are, we don't need to we don't need a weapon to kill those bastards. We just need to speak to them until their ears bleed, and or they're gonna be driven crazy and they'll say, "Kill me!" All right, so your free will choice. I just want to get back on something you said to your friend there, your 18-year-old friend that wants to join the military, right? Except for basic training, where you're really in a box and they watch every move that you make, and I guess you can learn from that. For those people who really have absolutely no idea what discipline is, you've never made a bed, you've never brushed your teeth, you've never wiped your ass in the morning after you go to the dump. So for those people it could be great, but after that, because of my specific service being in the Navy, so first being on a ship, you can't go anywhere, but I decided to have my room at the base. I didn't want to have, because I'm a single guy, so I didn't want to have an apartment. So imagine that they send us overseas for 6 months, and there's nobody to care for my apartment, and not even paying the rent. So I had a room on the base, so I didn't have to bother about that. But 4 years after basic training, I've stayed at the base. I've had one room inspection. One. So discipline in the military, and it's so true that about after 2 years they created, I have nothing to do with the creation of that, they came up with the idea of a base committee. Okay, so nobody was joining in because nobody has enough brain power to decide anything. Like you said, they're NPCs. But me being me, I was the first to volunteer to be going on the base committee. And they asked, what could we do to improve discipline in here? I looked at them. I said, okay, you're the big brass people, the one with the gold ring here. I have nothing on my shoulder. It's all black, right? I could go and get the rank patch if you want. And I'm the one who has to tell you what the fuck to do with yourself. That tells a lot. But that set apart, I said, okay, listen to this. We're coming from basic training in a public plane, or actually in a private plane. It's not public. All we get is a bus from the base here that brings us here and dump us in front of the barracks. And then there's absolutely nothing. They said, what do you mean? Well, we don't do room inspection. There's no parade. There's no marching in platoon. There is basically no training because you get sent on the waiting platoon for a while before your course is open. Then you can go on to it. So no wonder people, and I'm gonna keep some of the thing not secret, but I'm not just going to tell them. But there's no discipline. I'll go as far as that, right? It is nasty out there. The military is weak, and every military in the world is weak. But anyway, so you need to take those fresh out of the recruit or the boot camp and give them something to do. Otherwise, they're gonna be going and get drunk every fucking night, and worse. Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Well, holy shit, this base has been here 150 fucking years. And I had to come about to tell you how to manage your own fucking base. You're a commodore. You're a whatever, a captain. Captain has 4 rings here, 4 brass ring. I'm the one who has to tell you you need to keep them busy. Rocket science, anybody? You know?
Yeah,
So
no, that's
they came up with a course 2 weeks after, where after each day of work, they would keep those guys busy doing something, learning naval environment. Remember, I was in the Navy. Oh, here's a little side stories to that. That girl, I don't remember her name. It doesn't matter. She comes out of basic training. She's over a year on the waiting platoon because there's not enough people to open a course. I happened to come over with a few other people and they opened the course for us. So if you make quick calculations, she's already been here 14 months in total. The course that I'm on is 18 months by itself. It's the equivalent of a master's degree in university. So after 3.5 years, she finally ended up on a frigate. The ship is in refit, so it's in dry dock for 6 months. So you add another 6 months to her career. Finally, the ship goes out somewhere just to find out that she's chronic seasick.
Oh,
I'm like, what the
that,
fuck? So just back one chapter, back to the base committee, I said, why don't you take all these fresh people? First thing you do when they get here, put them on a boat, have them go out at sea before any fucking training. Why do you need to have them to become a weapons technician or a bosun or a mechanical engineer or a naval mechanical engineer just to find out that they're fucking seasick? I mean, is there
yeah,
not something you can learn on a fucking frigate before you specialize into something? You know, pulling ropes, learning what an anchor is, learning where the heads are, what's a flight deck, you know, the forecastle, all these naval terminology? No, you have to wait for a year. It's completely insane. I tell you something, Stefan, if war is declared against Canada in the morning, we've lost Toronto. It's as easy as that.
oh well. Oh well. Bye bye. Nice knowing you.
I'm
No
almost,
great.
I'm almost to a point to say, whoever wants to attack Canada, I welcome you. You cannot be worse than the shithead that we have now.
No, I know. No, I feel the same way. Good riddance.
Yeah, but
I've lived
then
in
who's gonna
Toronto
come?
most of my life.
Who's gonna come?
I,
Biden and the U.S. Army?
yeah. No, I wish the United States would invade, please.
No, no, I'd prefer an alien invasion, even if it's a fake one, like Werner von Braun said they would do. Jesus, bring us the
Yeah,
Martian something. You know the one in the Mars Attack, the movie with Jack Nicholson, like that was a cartoon movie in the 80s or 90s. Shit, bring those
yeah,
guys. Damn it.
yeah, yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, I want my head in a jar like Pierce Brosnan had. You know, he doesn't seem to.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was funny. Yeah, so I told him, I said, listen, I have a video out called, and it's from my survival series. It's called How to Survive War. And the very first rule on how to survive war is do not volunteer for the military. And it's also because I know how they've used the military in the past. I figured that out when I was researching World War One, that these generals were purposely slaughtering their own troops. You studied the art of war, right?
Yes, sir.
And one of the first principles that Sun Tzu writes about is do not attack a well entrenched army head on,
No. Or
right?
yes,
Like
yes. Rather
it,
yes.
I mean, it's basic. It makes common sense. You know, the guys entrenched are behind the machine gun nest. They got barbed wire. They got spikes. They got landmines. They got artillery. The last thing you should do is run straight towards them.
Yeah,
And that was,
ask the
and that was,
Soviet about that, especially
and
the 300 million dead. Anyway,
yeah, and that's what they did in World War One. And I remember thinking, like, and these are generals that are all, graduates of military colleges and West Point, and you know, the Prussians, and what with all your military training, because I read Clausewitz too. That was what they were all studying, Clausewitz. Um, and you can figure out that this was not a good idea. But then I realized, no, the thing was, they were doing that on purpose.
Yes,
They knew it was a
population
bad idea.
reduction. Yes.
Population reduction, and that's what World War One was about. That's what World War Two was about. Yeah, they got the opportunity to pillage Germany twice, and they're still pillaging Germany. I feel sorry for the Germans.
It's by the way, just a side note here. Germany is an occupied country until 2045. It is
Oh
not
yeah.
a free country. So is Japan. Anybody remember non-conditional capitulation or
Hmm.
surrender? So it's still going on. Germany is not a free country, and nor is Japan. By the way, we don't have any peace treaty with Germany. They cannot because they have no government. You know what the last legal elected government of Germany is?
No.
Adolf Hitler, the Nazi
Oh
Party.
yeah.
He's the last one who was elected legally, lawfully, and with their constitution valid. So when Germany surrendered, they had no government to surrender to, because those who were the head of state were military personnel appointed by Hitler, but they were never elected. Who was it that surrendered there? That Dönitz, Great Admiral Dönitz. He was a military. He was not a civilian. So yeah, he couldn't even sign the capitulation.
Yeah.
Same in Japan. The
Yeah.
Togo government was military.
Right. Right. Right.
So everything was planned anyway. And people like to say, "Oh, World War II started on 1st September of 1939." You know what? Bullshit. I called your
Yeah.
fucking bullshit. It started in 1936 when Japan in fact invaded China.
Manchuria. Yeah.
So yeah, well, and by
So
the
that's why I'm against anybody joining the military, because the powers that be don't care about you. They don't care. They're just this. And let's not even talk about all the medical experiments that have been done on soldiers, and and then all the World War One soldiers come back and they line up for a injection, and suddenly we have the Spanish flu killing millions of people. I mean, they didn't kill enough during World War One in the trenches, so they wanted to kill a whole bunch more once they got back, and so they instituted this phony Spanish flu. And we know it wasn't the flu that killed them; it was the injections.
well, we said earlier that history is for fool, man is a tool, and it repeats itself. And because the people are too stupid to open the fucking playbook, it's the same playbook as earlier.
Yep.
So nothing changed. Nothing changed. The date may be a little more advanced because there's more digit into it. Instead of a one, it's a two now, but it's the same thing. I bet they had ways of injecting stuff into people 200 years ago, and it would be the same thing. It may not be as technical as a syringe was, but they had other means. Maybe they had them swallow
Perfect. Yeah.
shit. So,
And I'm not sure they aren't poisoning us now with the water,
of course, it's
with the
poison.
chemtrails.
The
Yeah.
all the water, if you're living in a city of any important size, is flooded with chlorine and whatever. What's the other thing? Yeah,
Fluoride.
yeah. It's not natural. It's so complicated. I can't remember it. But yeah, and you chemtrail. I prefer to call it geoengineering because it's not just the part of spraying, but that's been proven. It's strontium, barium, and aluminum, which, by the way, aluminum is not natural. There are some very, very fine particle of aluminum in the rocks, but have you ever seen the industrial process of extracting aluminum?
It requires a lot of electricity.
It's completely insane. We should not be mining that shit, and that's why there's no rock called aluminum. It's called bauxite. That's where the
Right.
aluminum comes from. So it is not found in great quantity in nature. It's only tiny powder things. They have to dynamite an entire freaking mountain to get that shit out of there. Same thing for silver, by the way. There's
Oh yeah.
one silver mine in the world which just opened like a year and a half ago in Mexico. That's the only place. Everywhere else, silver is a byproduct of something else. This is the first metal that's going to run out of the periodic chart, and people don't realize it's in everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is.
once silver is out, it's over. Game's over. All industrial process will stop. So, and the price is suppressed, by the way. If I don't know if you're gonna, no, I don't think. Yeah, I should share my screen with you. Have you ever looked at the U.S. debt clock?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, here I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna pull it up here. I'm gonna go Google first. USD EBT debt clock. All right. Here it is. I'm gonna share my screen with you, and we're gonna make a quick calculation. I'm gonna pull my. You know, silver is the best investment you can ever make. I'll show you
Yeah,
how.
I need to sell off some of my precious metals to pay the rent this month, and I'll be selling off the gold, but not my silver.
Don't sell silver. It's the best
No,
investment you can make. So I'm gonna
I
present
think
my
so.
entire screen. I think it's screen 2. Alright, I'm gonna allow. Now you're gonna see my screen, and so are the viewers.
Yeah.
Once it's loading. So now you see us, right? You see my Google.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the US debt clock. Alright.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull
Yeah.
the
I've seen that.
calculator here on the side. Alright. So, and I'm gonna pull, before we do the calculation, I'm gonna pull another. Let's go to TD, for example. Actually, it won't work because I can't link it. So TD precious metals.
Or
Alright.
go to Kitco.
That too, but I prefer to go with a bank that people know, so they won't say that I'm cheating on anything. So let's go silver here. You still see this, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Here are the coin made by the Royal Mint. I'm gonna try to find. Here's an ounce here. Half an ounce. Here's an ounce, right? You see it. 37.92 is the price of today that they're selling it to you. Okay, so I'm
Huh.
going to bring the calculator. 37.92, the price for 1 ounce, right? I'm going to bring back the US debt clock. I'm going to zoom in on this lower right corner here.
Is your
Dollar. What's
Does
that?
your calculator have enough zeros to calculate this? Because I already can see this is going to be a big number. No, I tried to do this with my computer calculator, but there wasn't enough numbers.
Oh, well, first, I don't know why it's 0 now. There must be a problem. But in 1913, the dollar was $2.73. Here's what I'm looking for here. Can you read right under the calculator here?
Mm-hmm.
What do you read?
Spending to GDP ratio.
No, under the calculator here on the lower right
Oh,
corner.
under the calculator. Oh, paper to silver. Yeah.
293.8, right? To 1.
Yep.
So that means in the world there are 293 paper silver certificate to each physical ounces. So here's the price of an ounce, a real one, something that you can get delivered through the mail. So I have to multiply this by X. 293. Let's drop the 0.8. 293. Here's the real value of an ounce of silver that you just paid $37.
Right. Right. Wow. Wow.
That's the real value before suppression. And
Yep.
remember, the market is controlled. So that even that $37 price is driven by the paper to silver ratio, but that price is not real either.
No.
So
I
tell
agree.
me if there's anything else in the world that you pay $37 and which real value is 11,000. Even for this amount, you could be selling your 14-year-old daughter to a bunch of middle-aged men, like you said earlier, and you would not make that much. Even if you were buying a ton of fentanyl and you're cutting it to 99%, selling it back on the street, you wouldn't have an investment like silver is. even if you were trading weapons, drugs, and alcohol all at once, you would
Yeah,
not have
no,
a
you make a
return.
good point there, Jeff. And also looking at paper to gold, silver is more
126.
than
Okay, let's pay.
silver is more than 200%
Yeah,
more inflated than gold.
let's play the same game. All right, let's go with. Here's a gold bar. 1 ounce of TD. This is made by TD, so it's not made by the Royal Mint, right? Here you got 1 ounce, 1 ounce. It's basically the same price, but it's a coin. So
Right.
let's make the same calculation. All right.
Yeah.
Clear everything. 2747.30. Right. Bring back the debt clock. Times 126. Of course, the amount's going to be higher. But it doesn't give you a 300% ratio. You have to invest, listen to this, you have to invest $2,700 to get $300,000. You got to invest $39 to get 111,000. No, 11,000 that I said earlier.
Yeah.
So,
Jeff, I'm hearing some buzzing, and now your volume's gone down.
oh, sorry, I'm playing with the connector here.
Don't play with the connector. God damn it, Jeff. How many times do I have to tell you?
So for everyone that believes in money, here's your best investment that you can make. Because remember one thing, there are gold mines. It exists. There are places where they are specialized in mining gold. There is only one silver mine in the world. It's a byproduct of everything else anywhere else. And it's the first metal that's going to go off the periodic chart. Silver.
Yeah.
We're running out. Second thing, which is going to run out if you want to make an investment that is going to run out, I'm going to stop sharing. Imagine that. That's stupid. Sand. We are going to run out of sand. You're going to say, oh, well, there's the desert. Yeah, well, there's the desert. Have you tried ever building anything with desert sands?
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Quality sand is not a sphere. Desert sand has been rolling in the desert for so long, they're basically balls of glasses. They don't aggregate with anything else.
Right.
Quality sand to build anything, especially concrete,
Yeah.
we're out. It's so true. You can go and check in Florida. Every morning or every 2 days, there's a barge that goes off the shore. They pick up sand and they just spill it back onto the beach. Otherwise, those beaches would be gone. Even the city of Miami is complaining. Half our budget is going in keeping those stupid beaches up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that in California. I don't know if you were on the coast when you lived there, but they are doing the same right now. They have
Yeah,
to.
I lived on the coast.
So
Yeah. But I didn't see that.
You didn't
I
see
never
that?
saw them putting. No. I never saw them putting sand on the beach.
All right. Well, maybe they're not doing it, but I'm sure that on the East Coast they're doing it. I'm absolutely certain. Remember Palm something in Dubai there? Remember those World Island and all that shit that they've done off their
Yeah,
shore?
it's all falling apart.
Yeah, well, there's that. But in order to have them built, they could not take sand from their own desert. They had to bring it from Singapore or something.
Yeah, and that's I think that's the problem with Chinese infrastructure, what they call tofu dregs. Have you heard of that?
Of course. Every day I hear about it.
Yeah, and when you go into the parking garage of an 80-story condominium and the support pillar, and you can dig your finger straight through the concrete and pull it apart like it's sand. And I think the problem is they're not using the right sand because they're always cutting corners. So if they're using beach sand to mix with their concrete, well, no wonder it crumbles apart.
Well, even if I was paid to go in China first, I would never go. But let's imagine for a moment that I would go to China because I turned completely crazy. You would never get me to either go on a subway, anything built of concrete, or any close to any building which is higher than 1 story. Ever.
Yeah.
This place is actually falling apart. Everything is artificial, and you just mentioned tofu dreg. There's that, but there's also what? Corruption. I don't know our level of corruption because Canada is 100%. China must be very close to the 100% as well. So,
Oh, absolutely. They were. I was watching some video. They were trying to send out rescue teams to help the people that were being washed away in the flood, and the government wouldn't let the rescue team go out to save people until they had the correct permit.
well, I gotta agree that the only thing that saves us is bureaucracy, because it's so freaking inefficient that if it was efficient, we'd all be dead by now. But
Yeah,
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 yeah, bureaucracy, technocracy. Yeah, it's stupid. The very concept of property is also completely insane. Now, I'm not against private property, but I am for a limit to private property. I don't find it very amusing when someone has 13 car. What you doing with 13 cars? You know, or when you have a 17 washroom house or mansion. At this point, I should call it.
yeah.
It's completely stupid. By the way, do you know that most of these millionaire and billionaire mansion are not selling? Because if you are that rich, why would you buy someone else's shithole when you can have your own built? And because
Right,
it's you're
right.
so rich and you've added everything custom to your taste, well, no one wants to have it. So there's many channel on YouTube which are called Abandon, and I've been watching Abandon and Tofu Dreg Project for a long time. And yeah,
Oh, you mean the one where they show abandoned malls?
yeah, but there's mansion too. All those millionaire mansion
Right,
that are
right,
getting abandoned.
right.
So yeah, abandoned
Yeah,
mall.
I
Yeah,
find them really depressing videos, especially the abandoned malls one.
yeah,
Because I remember very well in the 70s and 80s. Well, the mall was everybody always went to the mall,
yeah.
and then
It was a local activity.
it was the local activity. Yeah,
Yeah, well, now there's no more local anyway.
yeah,
But yeah, what I find, they're depressing. You're right about that. I totally agree. But what I found fascinating about watching these abandoned places, no matter what they are, is that they give me an image of the present, of the past, and of the future
yes,
all at once. Um,
yes, exactly. That's what the way I feel too.
so yeah, and I laugh when I look at that because you just mentioned mall. I have known for a fact since I was a very tiny boy, uh, this place is a shithole. It serves no actual purpose, and so all these abandoned place, it it it's no conspiracy. It's not even a theory. It's a fact. They have nothing to show for it. There's no purpose to it. All these mental institutions in the United States which have been abandoned, there's plenty of video if you go and watch it. They serve no purpose. Well, maybe today they would serve a purpose. You could put all these fentanyl people in it, but
Yeah, yeah. And I know about the excesses. I read a book when I was living in Taiwan back in the 80s, and it was a book by this Hindu economist. I think his name was something, it was Sarkar. And he proposed an idea of not having a minimum wage, but of having a maximum wage. And the way that would work is like this: the highest paying member of any corporation cannot make more than 10 times the amount of the lowest paid worker in the same organization.
uh,
So,
not that I want to
so if you
argue,
had,
but I think it comes from Karl Marx in the Capital. It was said into there. But anyway, you may have taken it from the
oh, I don't
guys you're
know, could
mentioning.
be,
But that would
could
make
be. I mean,
sense. Listen to this, people. If you're the lowest paid worker, let's say you earn $10,000 per year, that means that the CEO of your corporation, wherever he is, does not earn more than $100,000 a year. It's as simple as that, what Stefan just
yeah,
said.
Yeah. It might have come from Marx. I don't know, but I'm sure even Marx got a couple of things right once in a while. Um, but yeah, that would make a more sense because now the way we have it, that these CEOs make hundreds of millions of dollars. Um, just look at Disney there. I mean, they can't produce anything of any value.
They
They
never
should have
did.
gone bankrupt already 10 years ago. But despite it all, their CEO still makes tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, because Disney is an outlet propaganda for the CIA.
Yeah,
Disney, Walter Disney was an active member of the CIA, which was called, I think, SSO, so Special Service Office back then, something like that.
yeah,
OSS, Office of Special Service. So yeah,
OSS.
yeah. Donald Duck had a fascist costume during World War II, so that tells you something. Right? They don't want you to
Yeah,
remember that, and
I'm
they're
not
programming children with Disney. I
absolutely,
I remember
and that's why,
the only
they continue to make these horrible movies,
yeah,
even though they lose tons of money.
yeah, because that's not
But
important.
it's but their shareholders are the central banks.
Yeah, BlackRock and
They
shit
just
like that.
print the money. They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care if those movies make no money. What they care about is influencing the culture. It's about brainwashing and programming.
Yeah, yeah. Snow White is now a black girl, so how does that make sense? But I remember one thing. Here's a side personal story. The only time I saw a Disney movie in theater, um, I think I was 14 or 15, something like that, and my brother took me to watch Fantasia with Mickey Mouse, and I
Oh yeah,
was back then I didn't have a TV. I rarely watched TV or except for video gaming even back then. And I was there in the theater, and as soon as the opening sequence, I started feeling real bad. And it took me a year to understand after I watched this movie that it was pure evil. Mickey Mouse was a sorcerer, learning. He was an apprentice. He was learning to be a sorcerer, and it was pure evil. I don't watch Disney shit because it's truly a shit. And by the way, did you know that Disney? Yeah, they do movie for children. They do movie like LucasArts now, Star Wars, which is shit by the way, and other type of stuff. But not many people know that there's another part. I don't know if it still exists or if they still own it, but a few years back, I'm sure of what I'm saying, Disney had with subsidies type corporation, they were the biggest producer of porn film in the world.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, that wouldn't surprise me.
Why my glasses are always dirty, I don't understand. So yeah, fuck them. Fuck all these big corporation. I won't shed a tear when the big bucks collapse as well. All the staple of this world and the Walmart and the other type of Home Depot and shit like that. I won't shed a tear. They can all go fuck themselves. Seriously.
Yeah, no, the sooner the better. Listen, we're in the collapse, but actually, the sooner we collapse, the better it will be because then we can start rebuilding,
Exactly.
and that's the next phase I plan to go into. Right now, in my efforts are in getting people out of the system and into their own system. Building the lifeboats, and we do that through mutual aid communities. I'm editing the video now, but I'm just about ready to upload a video called Our Amazing Community. And I go through what we have done here in the last year and a half, all the accomplishments we've made. And because our community here is really doing well, Jeff, I can't believe how well it's doing. And I know if we can create thousands of those communities. Look, it's only 80 people. It fluctuates. We're up to 100 sometimes, and but you get 100 people working together out of the system, right? Out of the system, We don't go to the grocery stores. We source everything from the local farmers. We are starting our own barter. We have once a month we call market night, and people bring what they want to sell, and they barter with other people for things. So I wanted some colloidal silver, and I had extra copies of my book, so I bartered a copy of my book for some colloidal silver, and then I bought some eggs with another copy of my book, and it's primitive and it's very simple right now, but this is how this is the beginning, and but once and I'm trying to help people all the time establish their own communities. I do lots of talks with other communities. But once we have communities established and then everything goes for a shit, those communities will then have to rebuild. So that's the next phase I'm looking into. What would we need to do to rebuild it? We're going to have to rebuild everything: electrical system, transportation, schools, hospitals. We need to rebuild it ourselves and in our own image. So that's the next phase. So yeah, the sooner Walmart and everybody goes to hell, the better it will be for us, provided you're already in a lifeboat. And Jeff, I worry a little bit about you being all by yourself out there. It's not good to be that alone. I hope you can find a couple of people.
There's no hope, Stefan. In my area here, people are selfish, they're greedy, and but there's no danger for me. I'm so far out that even the roaming band will never walk the 180 kilometers of dirt road just to find out if I have a box of Campbell soup. Even if I state
Yeah,
that I have a box now, I may not have it after the collapse. Um, there is nobody, I feel no threat here. Beside, all I need is a chainsaw and a little bit of gasoline, which I have, and I'm taking down 7 trees, put them across the road. Nobody will make it here. Because remember, a human can only walk 13 kilometers a day, provided they've got water, and over 3 liters of water, you ain't walking anywhere.
no.
So, so
No,
fuck
I'm
you.
not worried about you being attacked out there. The other thing I'm worried about you is that if you get injured or sick,
First, I'll never be sick because I never go see a doctor. If I get injured, I'll just kill myself. You know what? That's probably why I've given all hope. Stefan, I'll be honest with you, I don't give a fuck about life. I give a fuck about animals' life, plants' life, trees' life, other people's life. I would never take it away for them. But my own life, I don't give a fuck. The sooner I go, the better it'll be. I have accomplished everything that I came to accomplish in this world, which was mainly witnessing the collapse. All I have to do is to open my door, well, and drive 180 kilometers, and I see it. In a small town, which where I live, 180 kilometers away, there are some homeless people. There are people on fentanyl. It's over. The collapse is right here, and the
Jesus,
idiot.
really?
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. British Columbia is plagued. There's 6 deaths a day by fentanyl, and nobody's caring about it. By comparison, to compare, COVID killed half a person a day.
Right, right, yeah,
So nobody cares. So yeah, why would I? I
yeah.
really
No,
don't.
that
I really don't care about other humans. They can go in suicide. I will not lift a finger to help them. I was
yeah,
taught in my military training. You're speaking about life raft. When the boat goes down and the life raft are in the sea, you're not looking to save anyone else. Get your ass on the life raft. And if the
right,
capacity is 12, and there's a 13th one who tried to go up, even though he's your ship captain, he's your shipmate, you take a paddle and you just smack him on the head. That's how it works.
yeah,
I'm not looking
yeah.
to save anyone. That would be pretentious. I'm not judging anyone else, but for me, I'm not going to save anyone. I think,
Well, I'm not either, Jeff, but what I do try to do is help people to save themselves.
yeah, that's something else. If they want to save themselves, I'm going to be the first one to speak about it. Yeah, you can do it this way, you
Yeah.
can do it that way. And I'm perfectly safe here. And even if I'm not, I don't give a fuck. If there were a roaming band today or in 10 months from now that wants my life, take it. You be happy with my can of soup? Take it. You want another one? I don't give a fuck anymore. That's why I've abandoned all hope. There is no hope of saving this society. And whatever is going to be left after, like you said earlier, what's going to be for them? Because our generation, our civilization is not realizing. We should be stacking for this generation, not for us. I should put a bin somewhere, our civilization has amused itself to death. Now take this and try to survive, we're sorry. But there's no hope. It's the end of the world. It's the apocalypse, and we watch funny cats video, stupid people video, and we play video games. I'm here for that. I'm here to witness the end of the world. Like you said, the sooner the better. Whatever I can do to force the issue, to speed it up. You want to inject fentanyl? Here you go. Go, 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 go. Do it again. Do it a
Yeah.
third time. Go throw yourself off a cliff. I don't give a fuck. Seriously. Like I said earlier, I may be greedy. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. If it resonates with someone, to have a little bit of silver to barter, like you said, because even after the collapse, silver people will still accept it. As for those shit, legal tender, nobody will want
Yeah.
that shit.
No.
There's no practical use for them. At least silver, you can build shit out of it, a necklace. But I'm ready for it, and I don't know.
Well, I know where you're coming from, Jeff. I sometimes feel that way myself. Um, I don't think there's a week that goes by that I don't contemplate suicide.
I'm not suicidal at all.
Well, I sometimes think about it. I do.
It's not.
But
It's not because I'm convinced that society will go down that I'll go shoot myself. I'm not depressed. I'm actually happy. I'm having fun from the top of my mountain. I'm screaming from the top of my lung, flood, flood, flood. No, there's no ocean.
okay, well, that's good. You're not suicidal then, so
Oh no,
that's fine.
no, no, I'm not
Like I
suicidal.
said, I sometimes feel that way, and it's only because I'm bored with life. I'm tired of the shit.
Yeah, it's boring, but it's funny at the same time. I mean, you look at those
Well,
all these people, they're sinking.
it's getting less and less funny all the time. I used to laugh at them, but now it's just boring. Okay, all these drug addicts, all these trannies, all these greedy psychopaths, all these, I'm just sick of it.
You know,
I don't care about them.
you
I
know
don't care about.
the funniest part about that fentanyl shit. You know that they're really zombie, right? They're just standing up, bended in two, with their ass in the air.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, if I didn't thought that my winter boots were so precious, I would go and distribute some free kick in the ass. I mean, they're in the perfect position. I mean, pow! Smash them in the ass again. Look at them flying. They won't even realize what the fuck happened. Oh, yesterday I was watching fentanyl shit about Kensington, which is an area in
Yeah.
Philadelphia, USA, and then there's Kensington Street, right? And there was that guy. He goes there every 2 weeks, right? And he films for 10, 12 minutes, and then he just go away. But he was following this other guy, and he was a thief. It was funny to watch. He was looking at the fentanyl people to make sure that they were out for the count, and he was he was picking stuff right on the street, and the other guy was filming him with his camera. That was quite funny to watch. And I don't get depressed when I see those people. They're human garbage. Which reminds me, last time I was in Vancouver was for Roger Waters' show last September. That 11 months
Oh yeah.
ago, and I
I
asked,
like
yeah,
Roger
the
Waters.
bassist from
I'm
Pink
so
Floyd.
glad he's not another liberal idiot.
No, he's not falling for it. People didn't understand
Yeah.
what this guy has done for the world. But anyway, I hired a cab, and I said to him the first thing I said, okay, take me around Vancouver. I've seen Vancouver, but anyway. And the first thing I told him, take me to the human garbage district. He took me right away to downtown West Side, East Side, sorry, on East Hastings Street. Oh my God, that's truly what it is. Human garbage. People are giving me shit on the internet when I write the word human garbage. How can you treat those human being like that? Because they're not fucking human being. And you're being stupid for not realizing that they're not human being. They're lost soul. No, they're not lost soul. They never had any soul. That's why they're there
Right.
on the street. I mean, anybody that looks at those fentanyl users say, okay, I'm going to start smoking fentanyl. It looks cool. Yeah, looks cool. Live on the sidewalk and being banded over and fuck this world. Fuck this society and fuck the NPCs. Seriously.
Yeah. No, it's this is the world we live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's horrifying, to be honest with you. It really is.
Probably why I don't watch horror movie. Why would I? Just look at society. I got a story.
Yeah. We already live in a horror movie.
Well, for me, it's not a problem. I'm ready for it and I don't care. And I know
Yeah.
after the collapse, I'll probably have a year and then I'll be gone. What's the purpose? I'm not going to repopulate this world. We've got a society. Oh, here's a subject. Nothing was scripted, right? But I thought about it beforehand. I wanna ask you a question, if you don't mind, at this point. In a collapsing
Sure.
world,
Absolutely.
with all your wisdom and your knowledge, and I know you're a bachelor yourself, but
Yeah.
I want you to think about it. I think you've already answered this, but I want to ask the question again. How do a quality man or a woman, quality human, which understand what's going on, meets someone nowadays? You can't go to bar anymore. You can't really go to dating site on the internet because it's all fucking crap and full of scammers. So how and where, especially where, you meet other
Um,
quality people to live your life with? Not maybe not have children, but have a family life, a couple life.
yeah. Well, the old-fashioned way. Go to church.
In my area, that would be fairly limited, but even in cities, let's say I live in Montreal here, I'm going to take myself as an example, 46 years old. Would I meet a 46 years old quality woman in church? In
Well,
Toronto
you're not going to
or.
meet. Well, you have less chance of meeting that person anywhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cause.
I don't know. I don't know, Jeff. I spent my whole life chasing women, looking for the right one. I went through two horrible marriages, and I've dated hundreds of women, hundreds. Um, and even, sometimes, like I'll look up the women I used to date 40 years ago on Facebook and see how they're doing. Did I make a mistake not marrying her?
You get your answer, don't you?
Oh yeah, and the answer is always, "Oh my God, I dodged that bullet."
All
So
right.
I wouldn't know where to meet quality people. Like in my community here, most of the people in the community are older. Okay, they're in their 50s and 60s, but they're all married, and they all have pretty good marriages. I know them because I've been over to their house and I've seen them. I've lived with them, and their marriages are pretty good. And so, how did they meet each other? Most of them met each other through church. Even there were people that were in their 50s and they met their wife in church when they were like 55 or something like that. So that's why I say the old-fashioned way, church. See, the thing is, I'm not religious. I couldn't care less. A church is a social organization. I think that's the purpose of churches from the very beginning. It wasn't to save souls or teach people about God. Churches were a place for social interaction. And you're not going to get any fentanyl addicts or any YouTube girls. What do they call them?
Influencers.
Um, yeah, influencers or what is it, My Girl or something like that.
Oh yeah, there's yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just can't make it because I'm not into that. Yeah, people are showing their ass on this website.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So none of those people will be at church.
that's for sure. Yeah, I just don't want to meet with the priest. Because, yeah, Catholic religion or Christian church is not very clean. But I guess we could study every religion, it would be the same. Maybe I would
Yes,
be
you
fine
can.
in that Mayan religion they had where they would throw a virgin off of a cliff every 2 weeks. I could have been
Uh-huh.
down below and just grab her, and every 2 weeks I get a new virgin thrown on my head. Or maybe I should become a Muslim. I would have 40 virgin waiting for me in heaven when I die.
Yeah, well, they don't throw them off the cliff. First, they're gang raped by,
Yeah,
by the entire village, and then they're skinned alive, and then the priest puts on the skin and dances around.
that was Mayan religion in a nutshell.
Yep,
Oh, well,
yep.
I'm not into
Oh yeah,
that.
no, it
Yeah.
was it was way more horrible than people think.
But like I said, I have a good enough income. I could go to Thailand and come back with 3 women tomorrow and give them a Canadian passport. And there would
Yeah,
probably
sure.
be a lineup. But it's not fair, these type of thing. They're a gold digger and they wouldn't love
Yeah.
me in the end. I guess the
No,
right.
they don't love you from the beginning.
Oh no, oh
It's
no.
all
But
about the money. Yeah.
it's just about that, yeah. They're their own egocentric, egotistical little poor little me all the time. Um, but yeah, I guess the right question was that in the end, because we talk about relation now. But is there any love left in this world? And I'm not talking about love for themselves, because there's plenty of that. But love for another human being. And I'm gonna adjust this question by saying sex is not love, and love is not sex, just to make sure. But is there any true love left? People that would get into a relation by putting the other person forward and foremost all the time, and caring and compassionate and understanding. Did you think that's a myth?
No, I don't. I don't. I've loved people without wanting to screw them. And you've heard from my podcast yesterday that I was the officiate at a wedding, and I wouldn't have done that, but I know the bride and the groom. They're very good, close friends of mine, and so I went through the horror of going to a wedding, which I hate weddings. Everybody knows I hate weddings, but no, they really love each other, and they have a family, and they love their family. Let me share something with you
Go ahead. I'm going to
because
ask for just a minute. Keep on talking. I'll watch the replay. I'll go grab some coffee because we've been at it for an hour, 47 minutes. Time flies. My coffee's cold, so I'll be right back.
okay, let me go take a quick piss, and I'll be right back
Oh,
too.
okay. Hold on. I'm going to pause the recording. People, I'm pausing the recording. You won't see it. We'll be back in a minute. Alright, so we're back from a quick unionized break because Stefan and I have decided that we're going to create a union in the background. So we're going to charge you 100,000 million to get into it. In other words, we don't want you. Union are stupid, except from some very case where wedding is included, which was what we were talking about before we take our union break. So, floor is yours.
Yeah, so I officiated at the wedding, and apparently I did a very good job. Everybody said it was the best ceremony they had ever heard, um, because it wasn't religious and all that. Are you still there, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I'm still there.
Yeah, because I don't see your video. Anyways,
I've turned it off.
but but it was a good wedding, and I hate weddings, but it was a very nice wedding. Everybody had a good time. a lot of families, and from what I could see, is these families actually really got along well together. Um, Dixie, who is the girl that got married, who is my adopted daughter, because I lived with them for about 6 weeks 2 years ago. I lived with them, and that's the only reason I trust them, Jeff. Because if you don't live with somebody,
You
you
don't
don't know
know
what they're
that
really.
somebody. Yeah, right.
You don't know what they're really like. I've seen it so many times. Oh, he's a nice guy. Everybody likes him, and then well, can I spend the weekend on your couch? And then you find out the guy is a complete asshole from hell. And but anyways, these people are good. I lived with them for 6 weeks, and I think they genuinely love each other. And she was lucky. She had like four other ladies, women. Some of them are members of our community. Some of them are just locals in the small town here.
Right.
And these girls, they did everything, arranged this, the flower arrangements and the decorations and the wedding dresses and the hair and the food and the champagne and I mean these and all the chairs and the tables. They worked their asses off for this wedding. Um, but those women were all married, and I met their husbands. I know their husbands, and they're great guys. And they all have four kids. And from what I can see, they really, really do care for each other. So, you and I, we get a little bit jaded, Jeff. I'm jaded too because I lived in Toronto most of my life, and I don't have to tell you about Toronto.
I don't want to hear about
Uh,
it. That's different.
yeah, no, Toronto is a whole city full of assholes.
Yeah. Well,
Um, Probably like Edmonton is too.
I don't know.
And
I've spent a weekend in Edmonton that was way too much for me, and a weekend in Vancouver that was way too much for me.
yeah, yeah, I've been to Calgary, but not Edmonton. And I was up at Fort McMurray.
You know, the only thing I found great about Edmonton, there's
What?
there's a ring highway that goes around it. That yeah, that's the only thing great about Edmonton. Same thing
Huh?
for Winnipeg. I've been to Winnipeg like 7, 8 times in my life. I always use the ring road, so I don't get to see
Yeah,
the
yeah,
shithole.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Too bad they
yeah.
don't have
I've
that at
driven through
Montreal.
all those cities a couple of times, but I never stopped in there.
Yeah,
Just drove through them.
yeah. There's nothing for me in cities. Even town is too big for me. Even
Yeah.
village are too big for me now. The place where I live is a hamlet, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's too big still. There's a convenience store, post office, primary school, and that's too much.
That's not too much. What are you talking about? That's
Yeah,
just fine. That's perfect.
yeah, it's too
You,
big.
you need a convenience store.
Yeah, no, I don't need. I don't want to go there. He sells twice the price the grocery.
Of course.
There's no control on prices here in British Columbia for milk. So you get a jug of 3 liter, 4 liters of milk, whatever that is, for $5.99 at the grocery. You go to that guy, it's like $9.99. So
Sure.
yeah, well, I leave that to the tourist. Did we lose the internet? That's gonna be fun. Yeah, we lost the internet. I'll have to wait a second. Connection problem. So we're at 1 hour 53 minutes of recording, plus the pre-show and the break that we took. Was there any subject that you wanted to bring to the table?
Well, I was going to ask you that.
Well, I think I've pretty much been the clown of this show, bringing most of the subject. Didn't I?
Um, well, um, you're paying the piper, so it's you call the tune.
So we whoops, my bad. We talked about government, they sucks. We talk about doctor, they sucks. We talked about pharmaceutical, they suck. We talked about city life, it sucks. We spoke about we didn't spoke about education, but it does sucks. Well, we did through the doctor things. We talk about civilization in general, it sucks. We talked about money. It does sucks more than anything else together. We talked about sand, silver. It sucks. Gold.
Yeah, yeah.
The U.S.
Oh,
debt
we
clock.
talked about a lot of stuff.
So I should call this
Talking about
show "It Sucks."
it sucks. Yeah, the world sucks. Fuck it.
Ah, that's good. I don't know if the fuck it that YouTube will like that unless I put star onto it. But there are a few that don't suck. I'm gonna resume them. There's Maxigan. He's using a pseudonym. I don't know his real name. He said it a few times. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
Vinny
Yeah,
Eastwood. That doesn't suck. Their SGT report, which doesn't suck. With Sean, we don't know his real name. We've never seen his real face.
yeah.
Larkin Rose doesn't sucks. Legal Man,
No.
even though he's a retired lawyer. I
Who?
like Legal Man. I don't know his real name, but he's in the movie
Oh.
Jones Plantation. He's playing Mr. Jones.
Oh,
Up until
okay.
yesterday, I've never seen his face, never knew his real name, but it's all there in the generic. I highly advise for anyone to go see this movie. It's a well spent $10. But the thing that I didn't like really about the movie, it does present the problem, but it does not provide with solution. It's an expose, a documentary of what society is. A bunch of
Right.
jackass who are ready to believe anything and never trusting the
Yeah,
truth, and
yeah,
especially not wanting to see the fact. So Stefan, what I like about him so much is that he sees the facts, he analyzes them right, and he provides you with a solution. Now, you don't want to listen, that's your own fucking problem. He's not a savior. I'm not a savior. We're not going to save anybody but ourselves, and that is if we're really lucky, and luck is a lame excuse for loser. So it's up to you. Nobody's gonna come and save you, and even though we're both warriors, we're not going to do it for you. We're not capable of carrying you on our shoulder. There's not going to be any memo about you being saved. You do nothing, you'll have nothing. You reap what you sow. So if you sow nothing, what are the
yeah,
result? You reap nothing.
yeah.
Well, sir, Stefan, Mr.
Yes.
Verstappen, thank you very much for accepting this interview. 1 hour
Oh,
56
you're welcome.
minutes.
Well, let me leave you with one little thing.
Go ahead.
So we all need something to live for.
Yep.
Like I like to try to, despite all your cynicism
Sarcasm.
and sarcasm, deep down inside, you still want to help people. I know you do.
Yes.
That's why you're doing this.
If they want to be helped.
If they want to be helped, but and I'm the same way. I really enjoy helping people. Like when I do my first aid workshops, and people, they're really excited about it, and they're learning, how to stop the bleeding, like we talked about with the doctors. All they know is how to stop the bleeding and fix a fracture. Well, we can do that ourselves also. So
Yes.
it's not that complicated, right? So that's what I've been teaching, and people are very happy, and people are very happy when I make my pasta salad for the potluck dinners. Everybody always said, "Oh, will you salad for me?" I said, "Yeah, of course. I'm always going to make the goddamn pasta salad." I made like 30 pounds of this pasta salad for the wedding. It was ridiculous.
30
And
pound. It's like a bowl like this. Anyway,
oh, that was a big bowl. I kept, and it took me almost half a day to make it. But I'm only doing it because I love the people that were getting married. Like I said, I live with them. I know them. I trust them. They're part of our community, and I love them. But one other reason why I do what I do is I'm going to share it with you right now. It's only 1 minute. It's a video, okay?
yeah, sure. I don't think we're gonna hear any sound though.
Really?
Nah, even if you share your screen, it doesn't share what's the audio. That's not possible with Google Meet.
Really, it won't share the audio. Well, then there's no point.
No, but you can tell us about it if you want.
Uh, I don't know.
If I've got the file locally, it would record with the recording program, but if you're playing it and you're sharing screen, you're not sharing sound. So, alright.
Can't share your screen. Sorry, an error has occurred when screen sharing. Okay, well.
Yeah, trust Google.
Yeah,
That's why I'm using Google Meet, people. So yeah, I'm feeding the beast directly. There's no point in trying to. By the way, those people, just a side thought like this, those people who are using crypto, uh, think again. I know
yeah.
what needs to be know about cryptology, where crypto money comes from. Uh, but it's program, it's software. Those codes that you're using, you're not the only one who has them. The device that invented them has them, and everybody in between you and them has those codes as well. So it makes me
Of
laugh.
course.
Somebody tell me, says, why don't you get on such network for crypto email? Okay, I said no problem. Send me the send me the codes. A few seconds later, I get a code by Google Meet. I said, you fucking crazy? Now Google has the code to the email. What's the point of using it? So
Yeah.
unless you write the code on a piece of paper, put it in the mail, and I receive it a week later, what's the point? There's no secret. The German thought with the Enigma machine that they were safe, not knowing that the MI5, MI6, whatever it was, had the code, and they could break them and read them faster than they would. Same thing for the Japanese naval code.
Same thing
So
for the Japanese. Yep.
yeah, so after we didn't know that Pearl Harbor was to happen. This day would live in infamy. Fuck you. You knew they would be attacking in Pearl Harbor. You lined up the battleships so because they were obsolete and you needed that
Yep.
event to get the United States into the war. So meanwhile, all you needed to do was to turn to New York and ask them, why did you finance Hitler to your bank? Asking Grandpapa Bush, you know. Why do you think the
Yep.
son and the grandson had to became president of the stupid U.S. corporation? Because they financed the fucking fascist party. Because they're all one and the same. One big club and you're in it, said George Carlin. Rest in peace. On these wisdom note, I am not negative. I'm realistic. This is why I'm so cynical. Because other people are living their life in the country of unicorns and rainbow, and they're all turning to Trudeau. Look at the asshole, what he's done to the country. Fuck you. You let him do it. That's why the country is
Yeah.
such a story state. You believe the fucking lie for the last 150 years old. Years. Removing the hold.
Yep. Yep.
So,
No, and Trudeau didn't do anything.
no, that's the point.
People think that he runs something. He doesn't
No.
run shit.
He's a teleprompter
None of
reader.
these people.
No.
Exactly. He's a teleprompter reader, and George Soros and Klaus Schwab send him a text once in a while telling him what to do next, how high to jump, and that's it.
Yeah, they say jump, you ask how high. Speaking of which, SpaceX, Elon Musk, why do you think my internet keeps on cutting? Because I'm fucking Starlink, but I'm intelligent enough to realize that the father or the grandfather of Elon Musk was living in Canada and was the head of the technocrat parties. So yeah, I don't have any money, I'm a self-made man. Fuck you, your family had diamond mine in South Africa. You don't know what poor is.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
Elon Musk is an idiot.
He's an idiot. Yeah,
I
he's
really, I think he's like mentally challenged. Everybody thinks he's a genius and all that,
no.
but
Fuck that. Oh, he invented what was it? PayPal. Fuck you. He's stolen the idea just like Bill Gates never wrote a fucking line of code into Windows. These
that's
guys are
right.
frontman. So speaking of
That's right.
Trudeau and the Liberal Party, if you're not intelligent enough to first realize that the title of Prime Minister is not anywhere in the law of Canada, and the second that the political party are anywhere in the law of Canada, you're an idiot. No, sorry, it's not nice for idiot. You're fucking stupid. Idiot is a mental condition you're born with. Stupid is voluntary, just like you are. And the third thing is that the Liberal Party is sold to Power Corporation, which is the real leader in this country. They're behind the scene. They live in Sagart in Quebec, and you don't realize that.
Yeah. No, that's right, and that's why it's very hard for me to talk to people And again, one of the reasons I don't cover all of this because people don't understand how the world really works. And they still think, oh, voting and political party this, and let's
Voting,
form another,
yeah,
and protesting and signing petitions and all. They think
useless.
that actually means something.
Fuck, Stefan, they're digging a hole for the last 5 years in front of the House of Commons, the Peace Clock or Peace Tower in Ottawa, to put more petition into it. So I don't know if you've seen that building. They've been digging a hole for the last 5 years. So I don't know what they're
No, I
looking for.
haven't.
Yeah, probably they're looking to make a tunnel that goes all the way to Xi Jinping in China, so Trudeau can
Mhm.
suck him because he doesn't realize that he's a gay person. Holy shit. Speaking of which, I have nothing against homosexuality, but I'll finish this on that. I got some close relative which are in this club, and even then them are pissed off at what's going on with the grooming of children. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like even like, listen, I've known gays my whole life. When I was younger, I was always uh, sort of peripheral to the entertainment industry. I dated actresses, and I worked in a recording studio. I was the sound man at a comedy club. You probably heard of Yuck Yucks, right?
no, I don't listen to anyone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyways, so when you're in the entertainment artsy fartsy community, because I'm also an artist, so I get invitations to art openings and things like that. And there was lots and lots of gays, and this is way back in the '70s, and they weren't persecuted.
No, that's another scam. That really is
That's
another
another
scam.
scam.
Yeah.
Nobody was hunting them down.
No.
Nobody gave a flying flock about if you were gay or
No,
not. I
but
mean,
what people cared about is that they wouldn't let do them or let do that in public. That was the
yeah,
big fuzz was about. Do as you see fit, but do it in your fucking living room. Do it on your private yard,
exactly.
in your
Yeah,
private club, or at least even if it's a public club, where everybody that is there agrees with. Right? Don't do
yeah,
that on the fucking street where I'm walking down the street and I see this type of behavior. No, no, it's as unacceptable as if I see someone murdering someone else. You want to murder someone? Do it in your backyard with the agreement of the person that you're killing. But if you're abducting someone, it's a completely different thing. What if, I don't know, I was to rent a priest costume and start doing religious parades down the road? I wonder how these people would react. Oh, keep your religion to your private. Okay. Well, why don't you do the same?
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
listen, so I've known a lot of gays in my life. I lived in San Francisco for a year, and of course, one of the companies I worked for, everybody was gay. Well, almost there. The engineers weren't gay, but everybody in the office was pretty much
well,
gay.
the engineer, they're stupid, so it's another type of club. Anyway,
My boss, who was gay, once said to me, he says, because I know gays very well, and I can tease them, and I know all the best gay jokes, right? And my boss once said to me, he said, "You're the gayest straight man I've ever met."
that's a good.
And
That's a good one.
I said, "How do you know I'm not gay?"
Eh, that's it.
And he says, "Oh, we can all tell."
Yeah, yeah, they can tell.
So
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with them, but I had a real interesting experience. I got an art commission in the city of Toronto to paint one of the utility boxes. They have this program in just about every city now, right?
right.
Where the artist to paint one of these ugly gray boxes that are on the street corner.
Yes, I know about
So
that. It was like that in
yeah,
Victoria.
so I got this commission to paint this street box, and you don't get to choose which box you get to paint, right? You just put in your design. I'm going to paint this, and then they will assign you a box. So what they did was they assigned me a box, and it was on the corner of Church and Wellesley, which is Toronto's gay town. It's right in the heart of Toronto's gay town. And then the week that I had to do this project was, I think, July something, and that was Gay Pride Week. So I'm sitting downtown in the middle of Gay Town during Gay Pride Week, painting this fucking box, and they had the Pride parade goes right by it. So I spent a whole week surrounded by gays, and God, they're nasty people.
Well, you don't need to be gay to be nasty. There's a lot of straight
No,
people
but
which
these
are
guys were
nasty.
like, they were vicious, and they were always gossiping about each other and stabbing each other in the back. It was kind of nasty. So listen, I like I said, I know gay people. I get along well with them. They get along well with me. And we went to a conference in Boston, the Seabold conference. I was in charge of running. Um, what do you call it? Press briefings for the company, and but we all had to share a room. So I had to share a room with one of the other guys, and he was gay. And the next morning at breakfast, he said something, and I said, "Oh, that's not very nice of you to say." I said,
Uh, Freaking internet. Thank you, Elon Musk. We'll have to ask again.
walking down the street with all
Yeah,
that
I'm
stuff.
sorry. I'll have to have you to repeat what you said because Elon Musk's internet sucks.
Yeah, no problem. It wasn't that important anyway. So no, I don't have a problem with gays.
I
A
don't have
lot
a
of
problem
times,
with anyone, but if you cannot act civilized, keep it in a private matter. Don't take it to the
exactly,
street.
exactly.
Don't force it down anyone else, i.e., grooming the children,
Yeah.
because that's immoral.
Well, and that's another reason to fight this evil, because if we let them just run around like that, they will groom the children. That's what they're after.
Yeah,
I
but they've
can't
been
believe it.
after the children for a while. I mean, what is government school but
Sure.
indoctrination camp? I mean, it's more of a prison in school than it is in reality in a real prison. You get a bell to tell you go here, go there. You eat at a certain time. You can't go pee in between the 15-minute period. Um, it's schools are really prison, not only for the body but for the mind as well.
Well,
Um,
that's what I was going to say is that
and the failure rate is catastrophic too. So
um, the bride Dixie and all the women that helped out in the on the wedding. Um, what I told you, they had loving families with kids. All of them have worked. They work together to homeschool their kids. So none of their kids go to public school. They keep them at home,
the
and they take
schools
turns.
schools are pretty much like the doctor. They'll teach you how to make addition and subtraction, read and write. Past that, there's nothing.
No, past that, there's nothing.
The only
Mind
thing,
you, it was different. It was different when I was young. When I went to junior high, we had wood shop. So I learned carpentry and learned how to make things out of wood. Use all those tools: table saw, bandsaw, jigsaw,
yeah, that's
lathe.
technical learning. It's completely different, yes. But the
And
job
that
is
was really, yeah, that was really a valuable information. And then we also had metal shop, so I learned how to weld, uh, you know, uh, s- with an acetylene torch and with what do you call it, a spot welder, an electric welder.
I thought
And
about school and why don't they teach children to garden, build a house, drive a car,
yeah,
maintain a
yeah,
house, cook a meal. Even though if they would be doing that, the last one I probably would not be listening, cause yeah, past 2 minute 22 on a microwave, I'm gone.
yeah.
But yeah, the schools are not there to teach anything to
and
anyone.
and our middle school also had, it was an extracurricular activity. We had to sign up for it separately. It wasn't actually in the school, but we had Outward Bound, where they took us for a week, 3 times a year, spring, summer, and fall, up to Algonquin Park, and they taught us everything: archery, how to shoot a rifle, how to rappel down a cliff, canoeing, swimming, hiking, camping, how to build fires, how to build shelters. Um, and that was invaluable, invaluable. But they don't do that anymore anyway. So
No, and on this wisdom thought about school not teaching anything, we can add to the list school sucks. We're not going to play that Alice Cooper song, School's Out for Summer, but we don't think the less about it. So I was to
yeah.
say 15 minutes ago, thank you very much for contributing to Freedom Free for All today, for your, I guess, lifetime achievement of empathy and compassion and hope, I guess, even though I don't have any hope. But let me thank you.
Well, I do have hope, Jeff. I do have hope.
To each his own. It's not a criticism of you that you have hope.
No,
Uh,
I know, Jeff. I don't take things personally, anyways.
so I'm
I
gonna
always tell
keep on
people,
listening at you because even when you have broadcasts and we do see your face, I'm not watching. I'm just listening. Thank you very much. I feel like giving you a lifetime award for all you did. Of course, it's a fake award. You won't receive the trophy and there's no check attached to it, so you can now do as a legal men do and
what? No check.
no.
I was just going to say, keep the trophy, but send the cash.
Well, the trophy was made of gold, so it's in a it's in a jewel case in my living room. It's not moving from there. Um,
Well, you're very welcome, Jeff. Thanks for having me back, and thanks for supporting my work, and thank you for all the kind words you've said about me and the compliments you've given me.
well, that's why you
And
deserve a lifetime achievement award. I encourage everyone, including you, Stefan, to download the actual recording from my YouTube channel. Post it if you want. Again,
yeah, I'll download it. I'll repost it.
there's no copyright on Freedom Free for All, and if there were, I don't own them anyway. The show was created by Adam Blaney. Thanks to him as well. Thanks for everyone who one day stood for someone else in the capacity that you had. Thanks to those who, even if they don't do it in public, stand for freedom and truth. Thanks to you as well. I understand that not everyone has the capability of Stefan to speak in public, but stop participating, like Maxigan would say, non-compliance in the system. That's the way to go. If you can, I'm incapable of doing that, but if you can, spread love. Stay on the line, Stefan. I'm gonna pause the recording. Thank you very much to everyone who spent 2 hours, 17 minutes, 16 seconds watching this.